Welcome to a new episode of the Film Rescue Show. I am here with my fearless hosts, as always. We have the horror Hope.
I know it's not a horror film, but damn, this is a horror.
And we have the professional cynic Jesse with us as well.
Yes, I'm the most cynical about this one, I think.
We almost got into this one a few years back, and then there was interruptions.
Season 3 or 4 or something like that?
That sounds right. That we tried to be like recent on that one, I think, and then we had some issues in the recording, and so it got kicked. The can got kicked down the line and kicked down the line and kicked down the line and kicked. And here we are. So, wow. I have to admit something, guys. Before we even get into the review or anything, I thought I had seen this more than once. Mm-hmm. Because the first time I saw it, I know I took edibles. I had to confirm with Jesse. So I had to do a sober rewatch, and I'm pretty sure it was the first time I actually got the movie.
Retained it.
And what movie are we talking about here today?
Yeah, so we're talking about Godzilla, King of the Monsters, directed by Michael Dougherty. This is the third film in the Monsterverse, and
technically the second. Kong Skull Island came out after this.
Did it come out after this?
It was after this.
Interesting.
Wasn't it? I could swear it was, because they referenced Skull Island over and over again.
No, because it was a lead up.
Yeah, this was leading up to Kong Skull Island.
I don't know. We just had a 10-minute conversation about this before we started recording.
No,
I thought
Skull Island
came out.
Skull Island came out in 2017, and this came out in 2019. Because Ghidorah was referenced at the end of Skull Island in the cave paintings.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, they were leading up to Godzilla versus Kong. Okay, that's what they were leading up to.
Yeah.
This could functionally.
Yeah.
And you're not wrong in that, this is the second movie in the story, right?
Yeah.
They jumped way back for Skull Island, so this is the first time we've actually moved things forward since Gareth Edwards' Godzilla.
Yeah.
And post this, we will have got 2 more movies and a TV show, as we were pointing out.
Yeah. Is anybody watching that? I am not watching it.
No. No.
I don't know. It's one of those things where that's coming out on Apple TV, right?
Yeah.
Am I mistaken?
That's Apple TV.
So Apple TV shit is good. It's
yeah, they. I don't think there's a bad show on that network.
Even the foundation for being as cheesy as it can be is still really good sci-fi. And so I'm like, I might check it out just because it got onto Apple. Maybe it's actually good.
I don't have Apple, so.
Yeah.
The most notable thing about it is that Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell are playing the same character 50 years apart. That's the only notable thing about the show. I'm
in it just for that. They both said that it's the first time they've ever done it, and they're excited to try it with a character.
Because Wyatt Russell said he would never play his father's character. Well, you're literally playing the same person now.
That's different. I think he meant more so the escape.
He'd never play
and
Snake
things
Plissken.
like that.
Yeah.
The legacy characters.
Never a legacy character. Never something that's already been established. This is going to be established within itself, so that's a little bit different than taking over.
Yeah,
sure. Well, let's dive into it with our positives at the front. But first, let's get our first reactions. Did you guys see this in theaters? Hope, did you see this in the movies?
I did not.
I don't think I did.
This didn't get you into the theater? What the fuck?
Well, this
I am very
loyal.
I'm very loyal to Godzilla, but I'm loyal to its Japanese roots, not its American roots.
This character doesn't really work very well in America, I don't think. It just kind of devolves into a generic monster movie, if you think about it.
Right. Whereas it's been established in Japan since the 30s, 40s. But the thing is, if it was King Kong, that's different, because I own the original 1933 version of King Kong. That's American straight through and through. That's a classic. But Godzilla, it has the mythos from Japan behind it. So I think it should just stay with Japanese filmmakers because of that, because it has the mythos.
Oh, and my argument is the best one that we've had in the last decade was the Japanese one with Shin Godzilla. Like that was just way better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Because they know what they're doing. They know the mythos. They know their legend. They know their legacy. It's theirs.
Yeah. Well, the Godzilla character is a metaphor for how humans handle a catastrophe. That's what it's about. Like the original version, the Gojira film, was essentially about humans in Japan dealing with the fallout of the atomic bomb. That's essentially what it's about. And post World War II, dealing with the cleanup. And then Shin Godzilla is a modern reworking of that, where it dealt with the what was the power plant in Japan that was destroyed by the tsunami? What was the name of it?
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck, I can't think of it. Now.
You know what I'm talking about. But anyways, that power plant that collapsed, and how humans had to form committees and they had to sacrifice themselves in order to shut it down before it went nuclear. That's what that film is about. Then you look at the American versions, like 98 Godzilla and all that crap. They're just monster movies. They are just monster movies. And there's been tons of sequels about this character, but they just kind of devolve into what's the next monster? What's he going to punch next? And they don't really have a lot of staying power. There's a charm to them. They're kind of fun. They're kind of silly. I mean, a lot of them are pretty bad. But the character itself is more... It became goofier as it went along. I compare it a bit to the Terminator series, where the Terminator in the original is much more dark and serious, and it's about it's really about something. Then the sequels, they get a little bit more schlocky.
Well, there's also like 50 Godzilla movies. Like it's a huge
there is
fucking
I pulled up a listing from Reddit about what movies exist, and currently at this time there's 31 separate Godzilla films.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
Includes
it's a huge thing.
Currently existing, there's 31 in existence. There's more on the way. When I realized, I didn't even know there was another one coming out next year. I didn't even know. This lists all the different films and how much screen time he has in each movie. And I was shocked to see that he doesn't even get more than a half an hour in each movie.
Yeah.
Some movies, he's only in it for about 5 minutes. And
you just said so yourself. It's about how the humans handle it. So obviously they're going to focus on like the drama of the humans dealing with it.
Yeah, even Shin Godzilla right here, he's listed at 17 minutes and 23 seconds in that 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
He's barely in it for screen time. He's like referenced. You kind of hear him in the background, but it's like full scale on screen, not even 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense though. It does. I mean, just the type of story it is, then you have the technical display, you have everything going on. Like, it doesn't shock me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a big comparison, too, between, specifically, like, calling out the difference between the American and Japanese films. I think the American films tend to lean on the, like, disaster movie roots.
Oh,
where like this is more in league with anything that you'd see
Roland Emmerich do.
Roland Emmerich do, yeah, and because he did do one of these, like there's a reason he got his hands on the IP for a minute. Versus like I think the Japanese movies are like response movies, like you're watching people that are good at what they do respond to an impossible situation versus like just inventing things to allow the monsters to keep fighting each other. Like to keep this destructive ball rolling, we have to have a reason for all of these monsters to be upset and smashing cities off screen for reasons to bring the stakes up, because it's Hollywood and it's big budget versus that kind of approach of no, this is like, how does a community respond to an impossible situation?
Well, and Japan's more of a community than us. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, that's part of the pitch that I have coming up today, because I'm fixing this one. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see what your fix is. I have a couple picks from the movie that are like, we have to keep a couple things.
Yeah,
but
a couple things to keep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's do our Jesse. What was your initial impression when you saw this? Did you watch it for this episode, or had you seen it previously?
I'd seen it before. I remember thinking, I at the time I really liked the 2014 movie. I've since soured on it because there's no interesting characters at all. I would say this movie is even worse because not only are the characters not terribly interesting, but also the situation that they're put in is completely implausible and would never ever happen, and is absolutely ridiculous in terms of what the characters do. Like Vera Farmiga becomes an eco-terrorist, and the girl from Stranger Things is apparently hanging out with the dude from Early Edition, and they have a giant airship that flies around and defies the laws of gravity. It wants to be schlocky, but then it wants to be serious at the same time.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I kind of, it's kind of like it's like a middle of the road movie for me. Like there's some stuff in it I like, but there's a lot of crap I don't.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
There's a lot of logic missing from the background, and it's all for sake of display. And while I get that move. This is Godzilla in American theaters. You want it to be big, and I'll give it. When it goes big, it is artistic.
Oh, it
borderline
went
when it goes
it
big.
Went huge.
But it is all to service those moments and not to have anything running in the background. Like this is skeleton crew back behind.
Yeah.
So I love it. I dig it for being bad. This is the one like of this series. I think Skull Island was genuinely trying to do something. I think the 2014 one is dark and dour, and I think that's why I like it. It actually has a tone.
Yeah.
This is the first one that I'm like, wow, what a misfire. This is so fun.
Didn't you have to take a break while you were watching this?
I had to take a break in the middle. I was like,
was it
Godzilla
right when Rodan showed up and he was like flying around like a fucking bird all the time and shit?
I got to save those for the negatives. I got to save those for the, sorry. We'll circle back around on this.
Oh, this is so stupid. Oh, God.
So Hope, I know you're very opposed to this, even the existence of this film. What redeeming qualities did it bring you when you watched it? What did anything sing out to you?
I mean, I always
Godzilla's chonky, I think.
He's chonky. He's chonky, baby.
He is well designed.
the one thing I always go for with these films is I'm like, it has a great cast. Does the cast always follow through? A lot of the times,
did the cast all know what movie they were in?
Did they know what they signed on their contracts?
Right.
I mentioned in our Discord chat that this is like the most non-committal movie because most of it's just a green screen show. Just like stare off into the distance at the green screen. You're going to get paid thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
That's the whole movie.
Yeah.
This is all done on a stage. Was there any location shoots in this movie?
No, I don't think there were. And if there was, I'd be shocked.
Dude, I'm pretty sure, like, the house that they're in for breakfast in the morning, I throw air quotes around that. I'm pretty sure that was a set. I'm pretty sure they didn't even go to a real house.
That house looked a little too big and spacious. I was like, that's some wide hallways.
That's some rich people shit.
Right.
Yeah. Especially for a single mom. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, but she's also, like, fucking secret black op government money.
Oh wait, no, that the house is inside of a containment facility that's in, like, was it Peru or something like that? So it's like government shit. It's
yeah.
Okay, all right, government.
That's what I'm saying. That's secret black op government shit money. So we don't talk about that.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Anything
other
to make it a
house
set,
where
you know?
like she runs off to at the end of the movie.
Oh, the house in Boston.
Like, yeah, that was like when they were all still together.
All right.
Which also bugs me, by the way. That's a whole. We'll get into that.
Oh, that they just happen to end up in Boston. the place
it's not even that. It's not even that. But
or
we'll get to
the
that.
fact that this entire cast, who has apparently spent a bunch of time in Boston, has no Boston accent. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's not even like part of their characters.
yeah. They were
Couldn't
cast.
throw in some Matt Damon in there.
Right.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
I would take him instead of Kyle Chandler.
Wow, that's I feel like it is very much the script's fault that he has nothing to do here, and not his fault that he has nothing to do here.
That's what I'm saying.
Office Space yeah. Go ahead.
It's one of those things where the script makes the actor in this part. You can only polish a turd so much. It's like trying to. I think one of my best things is where like there's one actor in the bunch that's like taking it super seriously, and everyone else is like, "Bro, just fuck off," and they're like, "No acting," like, and that's kind of what it was for this film. Like that's what I think. What was it? Like Vera Farmiga is a really good actress, and not even she was like acting, I think.
Oh my god.
Her villain speech is so lame.
She had a PowerPoint like prepared to try to gaslight these people.
I saw you post that. You're like, there's a fucking PowerPoint.
I was like, she's got a PowerPoint to try to gaslight these people into thinking that she's doing something good by releasing skyscraper-sized monsters onto the earth, and then trying to sell that as if she really believes in these lines.
Yeah.
When they cut to her crying in the kitchen later on, that is her crying over her career. Like, I've done so much great shit, and now I'm trying to sell the idea that I'm benevolently releasing monsters onto the earth.
Was this before or after Bates Motel?
Oh, I don't know.
No,
I can't
for
remember.
that, she's probably like, God damn it, why couldn't they do another fucking Conjuring movie?
No, she's just into her crying hands, her cell phone. Just sign me up for the fourth one. Yeah, I'm so ready, guys.
Isn't she like a musician?
I don't care
now
if it's
or
another
something
fucking doll, just do it.
Isn't she like a musician now or something?
Oh, I don't know. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I know
She's very talented. Like I don't.
Oh, yeah. I know that Patrick Wilson, he's a musician on the side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, yeah, he's a talented singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another person who I feel so bad for in this movie is Ken Watanabe.
Oh yeah, the one character that carries over from the previous movie.
Please let me kill myself and get out of this movie.
Oh god.
Not only that, but he's the only one who's like, no, this is acting, and I'm like, oh, honey, baby, sweetie, no,
not for this movie. not for this movie, man.
I love you so much, Ken, but no.
You know what's funny? In Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, whatever the fuck the title is, that character's son is the pilot of Mechagodzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mentioned in one line that it's his son.
Oh, do you mean like the off-screen line in this movie that tells us that Boston's empty?
Oh yeah. It's just like Batman v Superman. We swear the entire downtown district is totally empty. Really? The whole town?
Also,
all of it.
Then cut to Boston later on, and they're still airdropping people out of the stadium, so they were lying at that point too.
Yep.
I was just ready to nuke the whole city. Just like, oh yeah, fuck them.
I have a note in my notes that says, I get vibes of Zack Snyder and Michael Bay with the excessive amount of military porn.
Yeah.
Like, the military's everywhere in these fucking movies.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my God. It's insane.
I'm having a hard time not making fun of the movie. Like, I'm genuinely trying to move through positives, and I'm having a hard time not just knocking the knees out from under it.
Here's a positive. All the monsters are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, you want to see bigger, scarier versions of all these monsters? You got them.
O'Shea
Except
Jackson,
Mothra, who's way too fucking small.
I was saying O'Shea Jackson calling out bad parenting. I liked.
Yeah, yeah. That
Oh
was
yeah,
funny.
Ice Cube's kid. I forgot he'd been acting for so long at this point.
Yeah.
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 It's so weird.
I think of the entire cast, he and Bradley Whitford understood the like Michael Bay over the top stereotype character they needed to be in this movie, because they like both of their performances are just like shining lights of
they're what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying
It's
to
like,
Jesse, Bradley Whitford is so good that I didn't even realize he was the lore dump guy until like halfway through his lines. And I'm like, oh, he's just talking about the background of the movie for me. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Captain Exposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's good
Pretty
at
much.
it. He's good at it.
Yeah, he's another great actor. And he has so much range. I've seen him in comedies, I've seen him in serious roles. He's an underrated actor for sure.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so great cast. I think we all agreed earlier, great visuals. Like when this movie goes all out.
Yeah.
A little dark, a little visually dark, but overall I think it's a good looking film.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The monsters are done beautifully. I think they look really good.
They feel like they have weight
good.
to them too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When what is it? Is Rodan the big bird one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. When he's kind of flying around, it seems like there's a lot of weight. Yeah, the Firebird. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of weight to his movements.
Yeah, I love that. Like his wings are even just so massive that they're destructive in the flap. Like he's not a weak bird. I love that.
Yeah, that barrel roll he does, knocking out all the aircraft. That was kind of cool.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still laugh though when they're like, get out of there, eject. He's like, I'm ejecting. Hope. I was like,
that's one thing I did.
Dark.
That's one thing I did steal and put into the pitch. I was like, I'm not letting that go.
Yeah.
That's too good.
I laughed so hard at that. I was like, bro, I would have just stayed in my plane at that point. Like, fuck that.
It feels like a Rick and Morty bit. I feel like I've seen that somewhere else.
Oh, probably. The alternative was much worse.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, when Ghidorah bites the power station in Boston and lets out his like ultimate flare lightning attack, like that shit looks so good. It's kind of cool to see how far CGI has come and just those images and what they're able to do. Like it's really impressive. It like I caught myself always looking forward to the next one, even if the movie was just like grinding its gears behind me. I was still going like, yeah, but I know there's another cool shot coming up, and I want to see that cool shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels like an engine that is fully functional, but it had like corn syrup dumped into the engine, so it's like churning and kind of grinding. It's not quite getting into gear at any point. It's just like
it's
gumped up the whole
a
time.
It's like a teenager learning stick shift for the first time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Specifically, like the way that sometimes people will accidentally like over RPM as they're in the middle of the gears.
Yeah.
That's when the movie's the best, when it's just like spinning its tires for a second, going like, "This is gonna be really cool, guys."
We promise it's gonna be awesome.
Oh god,
that's where the movie really grabs me, and then it'll just lose me for huge swaths.
Yeah, I feel like we're chomping at the bit to really dive into negatives because there's not a lot to talk about positives. Like it looks fine, it's competently made. It's it's
a lot of the cast tried.
They tried.
It's the biggest film.
They tried.
It's the biggest film Michael Dougherty's ever made. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did he do the next one? Did he do the next one?
No, Adam Wingard has taken over.
Yeah, that's right. Wingard, that's right.
Yeah, that's what we're
he got that
about.
one and the next one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Which, like, that's another, like, very visual filmmaker that, like, despite the issues within that very, very funny movie, he's got some cool shit in there too. Like, one of the issues on Film Rescue that we run into as hosts is the slog of stuff, right? Like, there's so many Transformers movies that we're not going to cover all of them. And there's so many.
Don't ask to do last night. If anybody's listening, don't ever fucking ask.
I will shoot myself.
I'm not doing it.
They're just going to keep making them, And so, like, it doesn't feel worth getting back in.
Yeah. They made one this year. It came out and it tanked. Like, they're just going to keep making them. It doesn't matter.
It went straight to my airplane ride.
Yeah, I was just talking about this with like other people at work and whatnot. Just like I'm getting fatigued with all these franchises. Like whether it's superhero, whether it's Transformers, whether it's whatever. I'm getting so fatigued with this like over churning of product.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like let me take a breath, bro. Like, seriously, let me breathe. I'm drowning in this content that doesn't need to be content.
Yeah.
And that's what it is for a lot of, and that's where we run into this film rescue shit. It's like we can only say the same shit over and over because it's literally the same shit over and over.
Yeah. Speaking of which, go see the Marvels in theaters right now. They made $6.6 million on its $245 million budget.
Wow. I am actually seeing it after this.
What? Fuck.
I'm gonna wait till it comes out on Disney. I am.
I'm done with Marvel. I'm done. I'm out.
I have the free ticket thing where like they give you free tickets. Yeah.
Oh,
AMC.
so you don't even have to pay?
Yeah, I'm not paying. Yeah, I'm literally going to go because it's that or Exorcist Believer, and like I know which one I would enjoy better.
Yeah.
So my point there was within this Godzilla movie, like there's a lot of really, really cool stuff that like we're not here to shit on anybody's parade as we're about to go on into the shit parade part. The shit parade part exists, and I think we specifically picked this movie because 2014 isn't trying to be sci-fi. The 2014 one is just trying to be a Godzilla movie, and then Godzilla versus Kong is exactly what it is. Like, it is not hiding that this is WWE for kaiju.
It's a monster punch 'em up.
That's all it needs to be. This one, on the other hand, is riding the goddamn fence so hard that I feel like it needs to be kicked one way or the other. And that's why we're about to lay into what is wrong with this movie. And oh boy, does it have some issues.
Fucking eco-terrorists? That's your fucking hook? That's your hook. You're really dedicated to this. Really?
Did you read Charles Dance's character, Alan Jonah? Did you read his background?
No. What is it?
This is from the Wikipedia because you wouldn't otherwise get this out of the movie.
I was about to say this has to be some deep dive shit.
A former British SAS colonel and MI6 agent who defected after becoming disillusioned by humanity during his time in the service. Obsessed with leveling the global playing field and restoring the natural order, he became the mercenary leader of an anarchist. Okay, so he went from SAS to anarchist. Okay.
But what did he defect to?
Himself.
A group that was trafficking Titan DNA. So he literally, this man is a Republican turned libertarian.
Oh, God.
That's some special shit right there.
And he's an eco-terrorist too. By the way, guys, he really cares about the environment.
He cares about it so much, he's willing to wake up monsters to wipe out the environment. He's totally into this.
Right.
I'm really sick of this crux of a story being like the only way to save humanity is to wipe it out. Like, could you just shut the fuck up? I'm so over it.
It is a very privileged white man attitude to have about the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. The character just plays as like, what if Elon Musk was James Bond?
Then he'd be dead in 5 minutes.
Can we just hand out free vasectomies instead? Like, that'd be great.
Cool. I'm in.
Problem
Free Viagra
solved.
on the way out.
Problem solved.
So okay, I have a huge major structural issue with the movie.
Go for it.
Please. Please.
Dr. Russell and Madison Russell, Vera Farmiga and Millie Bobby Brown's characters, are superfluous to each other, and
oh yeah, totally,
should have been combined into a single character.
Agreed.
I don't think that functionally changes anything else that has to happen in the movie, other than Vera Farmiga's character doesn't have to get turned on by the James Bond guy and then just leave. I guess that's what I gather from the movie. She just leaves the base.
Millie Bobby Brown is only there to attract the teen crowd.
Yeah. Because she was in Stranger Things and that's popular, and so let's put her in movies. Like, she doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
Vera Farmiga can do all the same shit. Like,
it's the same thing with Vera Farmiga is there for the older crowd, because we know her from everything, so we would want to see her in this. The younger crowd doesn't maybe not know Godzilla as much, so they get in Millie Bobby Brown to draw in the crowd. It's just throwing any big name actor onto something just to attract them. It's just bait. Both of them are just bait, honestly, and that's their purpose. It's not even real characters. They're just grab bait to get you to the theater.
Right.
It feels highly manufactured.
Vera Farmiga's character could have just been the Republican turned libertarian turned eco-terrorist turned whatever. That could have just been him. We didn't need her in the equation at all.
Yeah, and I would even argue we don't need him. Why is the leadership split between the two of them? Shouldn't there be functionally a more direct leader?
I think my theory for that is he's the leader, but she's the money. Because she's probably
is there ever anything in the movie that says that?
No, but she's probably siphoning Monarch tech and money to make shit for him.
Okay.
That's my theory. That is my theory. And that's why he puts up with her. It's like how the CEO would kind of bend to the president of a company. It's
sure.
Well, I'm running it, but you're the bread and butter. I think it's the same it feels like the same dynamic.
It invents things like Madison knows how to use the orca and she's 12.
Yeah. Okay. Again, they should be the same character.
Yeah. Either Vera Farmiga's character could have been the one to defect and go to Boston and set up the orca, and she's worth. In my mind, you split the difference. You cast somebody to be you cast somebody to be
Godzilla coming to next season and split the difference.
You cast someone to be his 20-something's daughter that is working on the orca team. Then maybe she doesn't even have to have invented the tech, but she does know how to use it. And when she defects, when she finds out that he's actually evil and is not actually trying to save the planet. Again, I don't know how you didn't make that leap in the first place, but again, if she's a young idealistic person, I can much more believe it. But this is a aged, wizened mother that should be able to look at an evil businessman and go, actually, you probably will betray me later.
Yeah, how are you this naive yet you're doing this?
Make it a naive character.
Yeah.
How old was Millie Bobby Brown when Millie Bobby Brown is playing a 12-year-old, but she's actually 17 doing this role, right?
No, no, I wasn't going to say that. The naive character I was talking about was the Thomas Middleditch's character.
Oh, yeah, Sam Coleman.
Oh, yeah, the dude from Silicon Valley. Him.
Mm-hmm.
Hate his character.
Yeah,
he's there to make quips.
They're not even good.
If brown nosing was a human being.
I cringed so much when he said shit. When he meant the gonorrhea, chlamydia, whatever fucking joke, I tucked into my shirt and was just
turns on the kaiju porn in the middle of a government
and then it's literally blurred out.
Oh my Christ!
I hated.
That's the movie I wanted this movie to be. I wanted it to be
kaiju porn.
The Lord and Miller version. That oh yeah, dude, these things. Of course they're fucking, because how else do they propagate? That was the whole thing in the last one, was they were trying to make an egg, right? So that.
Was that the last one? I don't remember.
That's the plot of 2014 Godzilla. The Mutos
It is?
are trying to breed.
Oh, yeah. Can I just mention the Mutos in 2014 are the worst design for a monster. They're awful. They look like crabs or spiders, and they just look kind of just ugly and just kind of like stomp around. It's like they just...
They look like what you would invent for a PS1 Godzilla villain.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you need like 1,000 of something for Godzilla to smash through in a level.
Fodder monsters.
Yeah, that's that. There are cooler monsters in this movie.
Yes, there are. A lot of them.
That's kind of the need for all these extra characters kind of hurts the movie in my mind. And then I had a big filmmaking issue on the other side.
Tons of green screen, not enough actual shit in the movie.
Yeah.
You're bowling down the right alley, but I think I figured out what the actual, like, why this movie feels cheap the way that it does.
What is it?
So we have these gorgeous, giant CGI plates being made for the kaiju, right?
Yeah.
And then we have to have the human being cutaway reactions. And so we're getting a lot. The scene I'm going to pick on.
They're never in the same shot.
They're never in the same
shot.
And sometimes there's a couple where, like, there's a couple point of view, like, cutaways where you get a grab of a monster in the background of a shot sometimes. But, like, the scene I want to pick on specifically is Mothra's introduction.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So the way that scene plays out, he's like looking through the rain and Mothra comes down through and we cut to Mothra. But on the wide, it's the rig. Like, you can't see Kyle Chandler at all in the wide. And so we cut back to Mothra's point of view, but like really zoomed in on him. And so it's like awkwardly close up to kind of like make us believe that he's seeing something. But there's and they put the moment in it when Mothra flaps its wings. It should have cut out all the rain, and he falls backwards with a sunbeam hitting his face. He's now changing. He's not leaving. He's reinvigorated. He sees this new opportunity to move the effect. And what we're seeing from Mothra's point of view is a literal god seeing someone fall down in their presence. And you could have communicated this in the movie with a shot from behind Kyle Chandler as he falls down and the rain getting split over top of him with Mothra wide filling up the background of...
Yeah.
Imagine that in that scene. Now we have a powerful moving scene instead of it just being like implied through like shot counter shot.
But all these actors were filmed at separate times, so we can't do that, Seth.
Yeah, I guess. I think this movie's for this movie to be 2 hours and 15 minutes long, they could have done some interstitial shooting to add, like, that's what's missing from a lot of movies now, to be clear. Like, even
connection.
Even some of the that like the connective tissue, that scene geography, that push of, we're not just implying that Mothra is a god coming through the clouds like a Deus Ex Machina. We're telling you that's what this shit is. But you can only do that by adding the shots in. And you have to actually want to plan that. So those are my two soapboxes. I'm going to turn it over to you guys to tear this thing apart. But I agree. From story creation and from like film creation, it just missed in a couple places.
Well, that's how a lot of movies, that's how a lot of these bigger movies are being made now. Like even like the Marvel films. Like even though I'm wearing a Marvel T-shirt right now,
they're so disconnected.
Like Multiverse of Madness. All the characters of the Illuminati, like they were never shot together. They never met.
Right.
And that's why it feels weird when they're standing next to each other and they don't really acknowledge each other. Because they weren't there.
Yeah.
Spend the extra $1 million to get these assholes on set for a day, guys.
And we can't even, go back to saying, it was COVID times. Because we're well past that now to where we can still interconnect.
That.
Yeah.
We're beyond that.
Well, and even through COVID times, you have people doing things like Everything Everywhere All at Once, where they are literally not shooting together and doing everything they can to make it feel connected shot to shot by actually taking the time and planning their shots.
Yes.
A lot of this is like previs pre-packaging, and then you go in and shoot out the stuff you know, and then you go back through in your reshoots to shoot out the stuff you didn't know, and it's just kind of lost that like big dick energy of, no, Mothra is a god. I'm going to show you a god on screen right now.
Well, it doesn't even need that. It's also like just getting the shots, just taking the time to do it. Like going back to the original Evil Dead, there was the shemping element of that film where they would film another actor over their shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
And they would pretend that was another person to get the shot they needed. Like a lot of those actors, they were not in conversation with the person they're supposed to be in the scene with because they weren't available.
Yeah.
But you can still get the feel of it, though.
The feel is there, though, and that's the problem. Like, I don't feel like any of these actors or characters are in the same scene with any of these creatures. It feels so disconnected to each other.
Right.
They're disconnected, therefore I feel disconnected.
Yeah.
So, you know what the film feels like to me?
What's that?
Remember that movie World War Z?
Oh, yeah.
We go to each location, another monster shows up. We go to each location, another monster shows up. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And the military's just kind of there, and they get their asses handed to them, and then we go to another location, and more monsters show up. It's the same movie.
Yeah.
And then we end it with a Deus Ex Machina machine that stops it, just like the weird serum at the end of World War Z. It's the same movie. Same movie.
It's like the kick the can down the hall kind of method to storytelling. Yeah. Just like get to the next thing, get to the next thing.
Yeah. Road trip movie, but done really poorly.
I think I put that in the chat, didn't I? I did like a...
Yeah, I think you said it was a road trip movie. Yeah. It's kind of a road trip movie.
Yeah.
No, this it shares the title of the original Toho Godzilla, but it feels like a speed run.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's rush through everything.
Quick, from the finale to the last one. Now Mothra. Now quick, speed through the breakfast. Now Monarch. Now we got to get to Rodan as quick as possible. Like,
also, humanity says that they think Godzilla is like a hero now. Whatever gave you the impression of that? That fucker destroys everything in his path.
He's honestly at this point like lesser of two evils, not a hero.
Yeah, but then like Ken Watanabe is portraying him like is like a hero or a god.
Ken Watanabe's character is more like he respects
reverent.
Him. Like it's like that was his white whale, basically. And the fact that he like got to be with him in his final moments, he's like, that's why his last words he says to him are like, goodbye, old friend. You know, like he might have been like attacking and going against him. And he knows he's like the ant. But he just, it's like his white whale. That's his thing. That's what his life was about. So it's like telling a professor to seek this theory for 70 years and then for it to be disproven the day before he dies.
Mm.
You know, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
I like the way that his character anthropomorphizes the kaiju. And in my headcanon, I think that's happening throughout these universes where when they say things like, oh, I guess Godzilla's one of the good guys now, that's them like anthropomorphizing a situation that they can't wrap their heads around. Because in my mind, these are creatures, you know what I mean? They roam and they eat and they do what they do. And the point of this movie is like, we're loud, interruptive pests that you know what I mean? Like we're just kind of, our cities are these big ringing bells to the kaiju, and that's why they go and attack them. But we may find a way to not destroy them and keep them on our planet. That would be the ideal situation. And then they just anthropomorphize these like, oh, Ghidorah's evil because Ghidorah's like aggressive, and it's like Ghidorah's a three-headed serpent that can't talk. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if he really feels that way, but we feel that way onto him, and that's kind of the point of the kaiju is they represent the monsters we're facing inside in the best versions of this stuff. I won't say that's actively here in this movie, but it should be in the best versions.
But there's the whole thing with Ghidorah though, where he's like outside of the food chain, like he's because the backstory, the back lore is he's not a part of the kaiju. He's like, he is the alien who comes in and is like, I'm going to take over your planet. Or, you know, it's an alien movie without being an alien movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's an alien that just happens to look like them. Yeah.
It's Mars
He's an alien that looks, he just happens to look just like all the other monsters on this planet. Okay.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Well, and like, again, like the very next movie is going to go into hollow Earth theory and
all that bullshit.
So like they're literally
logic is thrown out the window in the next one. Like, fuck it, we don't even care anymore.
They are one good cameo away from an Iron Sky crossover in that third movie. I shit you not. I shit you not. They are one good cameo away.
Oh God! All we need is Nazis and flying saucers flying over a battlefield. With these
and
guys.
why not? King Ghidorah is proof that aliens exist, right?
Fuck it, why not? Fuck it,
dude. I hope Space Hitler comes in the next one.
Oh, this is the most fuck it franchise. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Well, and like again,
Velocipaster, make me happy.
You can do fuck it franchises, and it can work when you make that the tongue-in-cheek tone. Like, do either of you guys watch Baki?
Oh, Baki.
No, I don't know what that is.
So
Jesse doesn't do anime, Seth.
Yeah, no, you're right. You might be into this.
I was thinking of like the Chucky series, the Child's Play series. Like they just went and said, "Fuck it, we don't give a shit."
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great example for sure. Yeah, I think this movie almost made it to fuck it too. Like it almost made it into that
so
fuck
close.
it territory.
It's so close. It's so
honestly,
close.
if they had done just a little bit more, then I would have been like, okay, cool. If this is where we're at, I can accept that. But they didn't. They kept going like,
yeah.
Like,
this movie is so fence sitting that it does the Godzilla saves the day at the last moment 3 different times.
Yeah.
It does it 3 times. That's a joke. That is the foundation of a joke.
My big note here is that I love how the ending is like, we saved the day, even though we literally just contaminated the entire eastern seaboard with nuclear radiation. We saved the day, guys!
Right.
We did it!
Nobody can return home to the Northeast, but did we need the Northeast even?
But this means Chip is dead.
Dude, they do kill Chippa in this movie. It doesn't...
Fuck, man! Shit,
okay.
Sorry, Chris.
I did miss one positive from the movie. I really wanted to be sure to call this out.
Is it the Serge Tankian cover of Godzilla, which is totally out of place in this movie?
No.
Okay, that totally out of place in this movie.
The last 5 minutes of this movie, from where Vera Farmiga's character dies through the end, is the most straight gas kaiju shit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, where Godzilla gets like supercharged.
The superchar and the hits keep coming, and then the fake out that like maybe Ghidorah survived, but no, it's Godzilla trying to blow his head off with atomic breath. That shit is absolute fire. The last 5 minutes of this movie, untouchable. Just perfect.
That's what I wanted more of.
Straight kaiju porn. That's the kaiju porn.
For sure. Yeah. Like, I think that's why on the edible I walked out of the theater liking the movie, because the last 5 minutes were like bouncing around in my head and I was like, that was straight gas.
That's all you remember.
I had the same feeling when I walked out of 2014. I remember that last like 20 minutes and I was like, oh, that was awesome when he blew that atomic breath down that fucking thing's throat.
Right.
And I remember, the rest of the movie is so fucking forgettable.
No, truly, that movie is the best as a Godzilla short film from the Halo jump to the end. You don't need shit else from the movie either. Again, Halo jump on, straight gas. And that's why these movies keep me coming back, because they'll pour absolute like nitrous onto the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Here's where the budget went.
Right.
Oh, God. Here's a question. Did Jared Kiso's character survive at the end of 2014, or did he die?
No, he definitely died in that.
Yeah.
Fuck. That fucks up my pitch. God damn it.
We still do the pitch, just...
Pretend he survived.
Yeah. Okay, exactly. He did not jump. He was just the jumped instructor in that one. He did not actually
He didn't die.
Okay, deal.
He didn't die. Sure as he's still here, folks. If he jumped out of the plane saying, put your balls in talking tit fuckers!
Oh my lord. I need it so bad. It has transcended my pyramid of need to be the entire thing. I need it.
You're Shorzy saying to jump out. Give your balls a talking tit fucker! Fuck.
Oh, wow.
God damn.
Okay, maybe we do need AI. Maybe we need AI to make that real quick, and then we turn it off.
Oh, fuck.
Where have we gone?
Oh, God.
Oh, Lord. Hope, what really bugged you in this movie?
Real quick, I have one other positive. I know one of the people that was in this movie. You know the two guards that guard Charles Dance's character?
Yeah.
You know the bald-headed woman in the background?
You might have to send me a picture.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. One of them I know is a cosplayer named Miss Sinister. She's retired from the cosplay community. I know who she is.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh,
that was cool. She was also at a little bit in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I think. She was when Yondu's at the whorehouse.
That's funny.
Very nice.
She's one of the women in the background. So.
Very nice.
So, yeah.
I wonder what it was like on set. I imagine this was probably pretty fun to shoot overall. You know what I mean?
Because it's the most non-committal thing ever, and it's mostly a stage, and it's air-conditioned, and everyone's just hanging around, having a good time, looking off at shit in the distance. Like I said, this is like the most non-committal. It's like being in a James Bond movie. You don't do anything. You don't do anything. Like, you just kind of sit there and look at a green screen. Like, there's, like this symptom of like everything from Sin City forward doing this kind of shit that was fine for a little while. That brief window of the green screen movie, it needs to stop. It needs to stop, dude. These don't feel like real movies anymore.
Because they're not.
They just... Yeah, like Ant-Man 3. Wonderful. Great. Just what I needed to experience in my life. God. MODOK's fucking ass in my face.
Mwah. Hope, what's not working for you in this movie? What are we cutting out from our pitch?
So I think what needs to be cut out of the movie a lot is, as we established before, there's so many, and not just one character, there's a lot of characters that can just be cut out because they're the same fucking shit.
Right.
You honestly don't even need the eco-terrorism shit at all. Like, that, you could have just had it as straight up the Orca misfired. And it could have just, radio signaled to Ghidorah. And then, boom, go from there. They could have...
They never actually interact with any of the other characters on the airship. They never like draw the monsters anywhere, I don't think. Like, the monsters just show up of their own volition. Like, you could just say the Orca misfired.
Everything could just come down to, like, a misfire of the Orca. You don't need all this extra shit. And then that could have left more time for what we all want, is just kaiju, Yeah. And that was my big thing. Like, you set up the beginning of this film perfectly for it too. Like, it could have been this whole, like, you used it for Mothra to communicate with Mothra, and then something happens, it trips, the Orca falls. It could have done something and set off, and it could have pinged the fucking, it could have just been this whole other thing. You don't need her to betray the monarch. You don't need her to go and be an eco-terrorist. You don't, like, none of this. Now, that could have been like a happy accident at the end where they realize, oh shit, I know they fought here, but now there's flowers, that could have just been like, as they're chasing the kaiju along the way. Like, I don't know. That was my big thing.
Yeah, I'm hip to the idea that, like, it's still a work in progress. You know what I mean? Like, this is experimental technology.
There's no, like, final, like, this is my master plan. This is just like, we're still working on it because we still don't know about half these fuckers. you
Right.
know?
Yeah. It reminds me of that film Arrival, where they're trying to understand the alien language, and it's just these variations on circles. And they have entire like college courses studying it, and it's like this little bit translates to this, which translates to that. It's like, but if you just turn it, it changes to this, it changes to that. It's like,
right.
That's the orca. The orca's waveform is literally a circle.
Yeah.
It's By the way, the short story
it's the same
Arrival
thing.
was beautiful. Loved it. Anyways.
Oh yeah. I need to rewatch that movie. I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah, I love both the movie and the short story. So good.
Yeah.
Movie's
anyways,
really fucking depressing.
So is the short story.
Oh, I know. I mean, the fact that it starts out at the ending. If you put that film in chronological order, the last shot of the movie is her walking down the hallway after her daughter dies. Like that's depressing. That's the end of the movie.
No shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my biggest thing is you don't need all this superfluous shit. It can literally be with movies like this. You need it to be simple. You do. You can't overcomplicate it, and they tried to overcomplicate it, dude. You don't need that. We all know what we signed up for. We do.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
Yeah. You can tell they realized this was a huge mistake when in the next film, they don't even mention the eco-terrorism shit.
That's what
it is never, they abandon it right away.
we get to see like the new bad guys become whoever they sell that head to.
Yeah. It's like completely just, they're gone.
Not
killed
interested.
off screen.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure if the movie even needs people positioned as the villains. You know what I mean? Like, what if this was... So check this. What if the story is them like trying to work on the orca as they're collecting like the Titan DNA to get the unique signatures, and then after they've basically collected all of them, you now have a completed machine where someone who has that is essentially running the Titans, right?
Yeah.
And now it becomes a grab. Well, now it becomes a grab of who across this movie can we now not trust in like a clue setting of like who's going to try to take this very powerful device and use it to their own ends. And maybe we've been like learning about these people through situations around each kaiju. Maybe they accidentally.
So it's a metaphor for nuclear armament.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, what if you were going to do this responsibly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Responsibly. The responsible thing is to just not even go near them and just stay away from them.
Right.
That's the responsible thing. But we're not going to do that because then there's no movie.
Yeah, I mean, another thing too is like they're making the orca to be like make little pocket bubbles of like, okay, well they're fighting too close to us. Let's do this to like back them away.
Yeah. That was interesting development.
Please don't fight in our cities. Go out to the Corn Belt where there's no one out there, please.
Right. And like that could have been how they're trying to do this, not to like control them or whatever. Just be like, hey, let's get these frequencies out so we can make our own little pockets. They can have their fights. We can still live. Like just,
warning, kaiju crossing.
Yeah, exactly.
This is unfortunately a symptom of this came out after Pacific Rim. And so you have that looming over this whole movie. It's like, why is this not like Pacific Rim?
Which even to that, like they only put 4 kaiju out into the movie to actually fight. The others are just like there as background to be like, oh yeah, also shit's happening around the world. Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say too, and then I know I also recently watched the animated Pacific Rim on Netflix as well, which was really good. So like going from that to this, I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah, where's all the fun shit?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Oh well, man. I pointed something else out that really bugged me about this movie. They kill Godzilla halfway through this movie.
Yeah.
Are we 5? Like, truly. What was the last time?
It's called Godzilla. Come on, man.
The last time they did that was in the Roland Emmerich Godzilla. Like it didn't work great in that one either. Now, to their advantage, they used it to turn the movie into a raptor movie, which was a great choice. The bat again. The last 20 minutes of Godzilla 2000, just straight gas. You know what I mean? Like these movies.
98,
98.
No,
Yeah. 98.
Yeah. Godzilla 2000 is a totally different movie.
Yeah, that's a whole.
Yeah.
Was that Final Wars? Was that the one where Zilla shows up?
I think.
Where the real Godzilla just smacks him into the Sydney Opera House and kills him in 2 seconds.
That's funny. That I don't know, but that if it,
wonderful little piece of cinema.
I'll have to check that out. That's
and voila, cinema.
It's the ganky little iguana Godzilla, like
that little shit.
You see the lineup of like classic Godzillas, and he looks like Salacious Crumb sitting down at Jabba's tail. He's just like, "Hey, everybody."
He looks like Sebulba.
Oh,
God, fucking hate that movie. God
damn.
Here's a question though: is this even worth watching? Because Kong vs. Godzilla comes out after this, and it just completely ignores all this bullshit. Is it even worth watching this thing?
As Seth was saying, like fast forward to like the end to watch the kaiju porn, and then just be good.
These movies can be like 20 minutes long. Yeah. They can be 20 minutes long.
Go to like a fan edit. Go to a fan edit where it's just the fighting, and that's it. That's what I gotta say.
Yep. When all the best parts of your movie can be seen as clips on YouTube, you've got a serious problem.
That's a great way to put it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could make a good drinking game
and die.
Anytime someone says "Long live the king," anytime anybody ever stares off into the distance at a green screen, anytime you ever see Godzilla roar up to fight and then get the shit slapped out of him before the final battle. That happens like 3 times in this movie. He like roars to go to fight and then just gets his ass handed to him.
Anytime the dead child's brought up.
Anytime a dead child is brought up, yeah, dude, you'd be dead by the end of this movie. Boy.
Are we ready
Use
to
the
fix
orca to
this
solve a problem.
shit show?
Yeah, I think we're ready to. I think we're ready to fix it.
Let's take a break. I need to use the restroom.
Yeah. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will fix this movie. I had to pause for a second because I was reading the Vera Farmiga section on the Wikipedia, and apparently, the reason there's a mother-daughter relationship is to pass the Bechdel test.
Oh,
there are no other women interacting in this movie.
Earlier, I was not going to be mean. Earlier, I was going to use the metaphor and say it feels like they used a crowbar to tear a person in half for this role, and I didn't use that language. Now I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened.
That's what they did. We have 2, no, technically 3, because Mothra is a female, so that we have 3 females interacting in the first scene, and then they're gone.
Do you know how to pass the Bechdel test? Just split your female character in half. No problem.
Oh, fucking bullshit. Oh, God. I need to go get alcohol.
All right, let's take a break. That's a great place to take a break. Bye, everybody. We're mad.
Bye. Be back in a second.
Welcome back to the show. We're here talking about Godzilla and shit. During the break, I learned something very interesting, specifically...
What'd you learn?
Specifically interesting to you, Jesse. Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, the next movie coming out.
Yeah.
Simon Barrett is a writer on that one.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Well, Adam Wing.
Well, it's like a guest reunion because isn't Dan Stevens?
Dan Stevens is lead. Yeah. So I was kind of stoked to see a little guest reunion there, and Adam Wingard, directing. I don't know. I might go check this one out too. Fuck it, right?
Well, yeah, at this point, they may as well say fuck it because for those who don't realize, Warner Brothers has not been doing very well financially, and they own the rights to this franchise. There's been talk of them being sold to Universal in the next 2 years. Universal, the owners of the DC properties, the Monsters properties, many, many prestigious films, going over to the people that make the Fast and Furious movies. Thank you, Zaslav. You're a fucking parasite. This is all his fault.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho,
Capitalism.
let's
Well,
go back
Jesse-
to fixing this.
you have
Let's
a,
continue.
you have a fix for this one, Jesse. Let's hear what you've got, and then we'll see if it needs anything else, and we'll round this episode out.
Add mechs. God damn it. This needs robots. Fucking Christ. Like this. I mean, if we're going to say this is a fuck it franchise, why are there not like mech suits for these guys? They're wandering around like there's no radiation. Like these things give off radiation.
Yeah.
Put them in a machine that actually protects them.
I love that, like, in the last 5 years, the government in this actual movie has put together a physics-defying aircraft carrier-sized flying ship, an aircraft carrier with a deep-sea nuclear sub in its hangar that they could just
embedded in it.
They could just use it.
Sure.
But that nuke has been updated with like really, really primo drone technology as well. They got all this shit, right?
They have a bomb that destroys oxygen. How does that work?
They have infinity budget is the answer. They have infinity budget. So I think you're allowed mechs is my answer, Jesse. I think, instead of the airship, maybe they invested in mechs.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. They have all this technology, but then when they send Ken Watanabe's character down, they're like, well, this suit looks like it is made of cloth. Here you go. And they send him into the radiation with like a cloth suit.
Bradley Whitford has a line about like pumping him full of drugs to help his body last longer in the radiation, and it's like, this is morbid as fuck, and we're treating it like, whoa.
Yeah, he's like,
I think at that point you're so uninvested you don't even care anymore.
If you're still on board when Godzilla dies, the movie was meant for you. Like, through and through, the movie was meant for you.
And it seems blowing up a nuclear warhead next to him is going to revitalize him? Sure.
Yeah.
So,
nuking Godzilla brings him back to life. I'm on board. Sure. Anything from now on can happen.
Let's get some Gundam in there.
But yeah, well, it's Seth, you played Armored Core 6, right?
Yeah.
You what? Yeah, it's those kinds of mechs. Each pilot gets to design their own version. So I had the idea that Aaron Taylor Johnson is sticking around for this one.
Nice, okay.
Remember him?
Wow.
And Jared Kiso survives from the previous movie.
Love that.
You mean Shorzy?
Shorzy. Give your balls a tongue, a tit fucker. His mech will be called Tit Fucker.
Oh, perfect. This is an R-rated Godzilla movie, too.
Oh, absolutely it is. And then you get, you also get Millie Bobby Brown. She's the new trainee. She's brought into the mech program.
Okay.
That gives her a reason to be there.
Yeah, she's the ammo runner. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she gets her own mech.
Oh, okay. Oh, she gets her own mech. All right, Millie. All right, here you go.
Well, it's a squad of mechs. I called it,
she's like the idiot savant who, like, gets in a mech right away.
Yeah, have you guys watched the original Gundam, obviously, where it's just some random kid that ends up in the pilot seat? Yeah. Well, thank you, Hope.
You're talking
it's just
to
some
me
random
and Seth.
person.
You're talking to me and Seth, the two anime heads, and then you ask us if we've seen a fucking anime.
That's a dumb question. Where's Mike? This is his wheelhouse too.
Have you seen Baki, Jesse? Didn't I just ask you that on this episode?
Fuck you. Anyways, so the Monarch organization, all that crap, gone. I don't like it. It's stupid. I hate it.
Wow. Okay, disavowing it after the events of the last two movies too. That's I love that the post-credits sequence of Kong Skull Island is now like,
well, who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit?
I changed it to the acronym of GOD, the Godzilla Observation Division.
Oh, okay.
That just sounds better to me. The film revolves around an alien invasion, so it's not just they wake up Ghidorah and he's just there. It's like, no, they're literally invading.
Oh, shit.
I like that.
Like, there's a crisis. It's not a crisis that the humans just like, oh, oops, sorry. It's like, it's
more
there's
urgency.
legitimately an invasion. More urgency, there's more threat. And it's the human beings waking them up. It just seems like, wow, you guys are a bunch of morons. It's just, but the political message of the movie revolves around how governments and corporations will exploit a crisis.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, certain places are allowed to be destroyed so that corporations can come in and take over and exploit the land and its resources.
So we're going back to the crazies now, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the Orca tech is already in place in this society then. Maybe.
Oh, that's in there.
Okay.
It's in there.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, the eco-terrorists are just corporations.
Yeah.
They're
just change the title. Just change the title.
It's big pharma, it's Shell Oil, they're the threat.
So some communities get Orca tech to send the kaiju away and other communities don't.
Yep, and the GOD,
Okay.
the squad of mechs, they keep tabs on Godzilla and the other creatures that might be waking up. Simple.
Okay.
Just
yeah.
it removes mountains of bullshit that you don't need.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one organization has been using the Orca to drive various creatures to certain locations to wipe out the indigenous populations and allowing them to then step in and exploit the situation.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Twisted.
but the GOD isn't aware of this though. They're just like, oh, they're just going to various locations. Why is he going there? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, the biggest element that's missing from this movie is the human connection. You're not really invested with anybody on screen because no one's ever in the same room with each other.
Yeah.
What human connection?
Exactly. By seeing everything from the GOD's perspective, that squad of people, we see a boots on the ground feel. That way we film everything from the ground looking up. Like, that was the big thing about Pacific Rim, is that a lot of those shots, they're from ground level.
Yeah.
Like, the mechs feel big, the kaijus feel big. This one, it's like, Rodan is flying around like he's kind of weightless sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, there is weight to him, but he does that spinny thing, and it's like,
Do a
can I
barrel
just see it from the
roll.
ground? Yeah.
No,
Pull a barrel roll,
I
do
like
a
this
flip.
idea because what if this team has what we were talking about earlier as part of their credo, like do not anthropomorphize the kaiju, don't put people feelings on them, like these are creatures, don't call them names. Like what if that's like the internal setup to their team, and then they learn about like why anthropomorphizing them can be useful in these like kind of kaiju versus kaiju situations.
Did
Yeah.
you read my pitch? I'm kind of getting
Damn.
there.
Okay. Cool. All right. No, I like what you're pitching. Then I'm on board.
The first half of the film, they can't communicate with them. They're just like, the Orca, it kind of drives them in certain locations, but it's not really like communication.
Yeah.
By the end of the story, they can directly communicate with Godzilla.
Okay.
So they can ascribe like human connection to them because they've solved the communication problem.
Yeah. So communication in like it's communicating Godzilla's mood, or like Godzilla is actually consciously like connecting to the people on the ground.
It's some form of language.
Okay.
Some
Okay. Interesting.
type of language.
Ooh, I like
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
This is cool sci-fi.
Yeah, we also get downtime scenes where we get to see everyone hanging out at the base, just swapping their mech parts. You know, in Armored Core 6, you can swap your mech out. You can like change your designs. Everyone gets a different kind of mech. Some people get a big tank. Some people get like the little tiny, thin, springy ones.
Yeah.
You know, some are just like loaded with rocket launchers. Like everyone
Whatever
gets a
fits
different
their
kind for their own personality.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm totally thinking of G Gundam right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like that. Everyone just hanging out, just talking about it. And the leader of the group, who reports directly to the corporations, Charles Dance's character, he directly reports to these corporations and uses the Orca to drive them to various locations. So he's the one that's kind of like the shill for the companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's a company man to the very end. He will do anything for money. He's like, so there, you keep the eco-terrorist thing, but it makes more sense here.
Because it's not really
Okay.
an eco-terrorist. It's more of a money Ponzi scheme kind of.
Yeah, the film opens with Charles Dance in a helicopter looking down on Godzilla as the GOD is surrounding Godzilla as he's just walking along. And he just says down to his troops, "This is the voice of God, and all of you are beneath me."
Oh, damn. Okay.
Okay.
So Godzilla as a character mostly just kind of ignores humanity. He just kind of like
Right.
wanders around. He's not really getting involved in anything. And the GOD just observes his activity and reports back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like humanity has handled a crisis and is kind of just dealing with it now. It's like, it's post-Hurricane Katrina. It's post... the Fukushima, was that the power plant that got wiped out? That's the one that got wiped out in Japan. You just learn to live with it. You just deal with it. Yeah. And as the film goes on, the GOD learns more and more about how to communicate with him, and they form an alliance to stop the alien invasion of Ghidorah and all the others that are rising up. That gets you kaiju battle versus mech battle.
Okay.
So you get to see. You always watch that clip from that movie I sent to you, Appleseed?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where they're kind of like they're flipping around all over the place. Like they move like that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
They're quick. They're quick. They're fast. Like I don't want the big mechs from Pacific Rim because it's just we've seen it a dozen times already.
Totally.
Yeah. So, anyways, as the invasion continues, the GOD uncovers that the political conspiracy of various corporations has been allowing the invasion to get worse to wipe out low-income areas and allow them to move in and take over the area.
Mm-hmm.
So they're letting the invasion occur until the very last minute where they can finally use the GOD to wipe out the aliens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it eventually culminates with Godzilla versus Ghidorah in the background while Charles Dance and his GOD are in the foreground. So you have these two fights on two separate planes.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. And so, during the battle, one of the members of GOD sacrifices himself by diving into Godzilla to regenerate him by detonating the nuclear reactor. So you get to keep the nuking
I like that
part. Yeah, so it makes sense to do that.
Ooh, let's make him brothers with Ken Watanabe's son's character that's the pilot in the next movie. Watanabe.
Wow, okay.
I'm so sorry, Ken, if you ever hear this.
Let's make that his brother's character.
Let's do that, yeah.
Because then he's got like revenge to go after. You know what I mean? Like actual inspiration in in Godzilla v Kong.
Yeah, that makes more sense, opposed to just like chucking him in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, Charles Dance gets killed by ejecting out of his mech, and then he gets swallowed by Godzilla.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Godzilla burps.
I want that so bad.
I love that Godzilla doesn't have to eat people, but he's deciding to in this case.
He just decides to do it.
Yeah.
Well, by this point in the movie, they can communicate with him, so they know what he's doing.
Oh, shit. Okay, that's right. That's right.
It's like The Good Place where the bad Janet's like, I don't need to go to the bathroom. I choose to. And that's Godzilla.
Basically.
And then she lets out a long fart.
And then that's Godzilla doing his burp.
Film wraps up with Godzilla and the GOD stopping the invasion, then heading towards the United Nations could expose the conspiracy to the world. So I had this idea of all the mechs like out of power, just like grappled onto the side of Godzilla, and they just stomp off towards the United Nations.
Nice.
Yeah. And they use the Orca to communicate with him directly, and we end with a low-angle shot of the GOD hanging onto Godzilla, guns ready, aimed at the United Nations, and they get on a loudspeaker and say, "This is the voice of God, and all of you are beneath us." Credits.
Nice. A Godzilla mech movie. So the alien invasion, how are you imagining this? Is this like a Ghidorah is the big boss, and there's smaller things?
Yeah. Like, what was that movie? The fuck? Cloverfield. Little weird crabby things that show up.
I like that.
Okay.
Because just because they're big doesn't mean they can't have like weird things hanging onto them or something like that.
No,
you know,
yeah,
like
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I totally
agree.
Or like,
more recently, the movie No One Will Save You, how they just like different aliens all over.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What does a kaiju's barnacle look like? That could be a cool concept to run with. You know, that symbiotic relationship with something huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what are those things that hang on to sharks? They call lampreys?
Lamprey? Oh, yeah. What's a kaiju lamprey?
Yeah, something like that. Where they just, yeah. Little parasites that come down, they start like multiplying very quickly.
I love that for design lead too, because then they're like siphoning the radiation off the kaiju, right?
Yeah.
Like a big issue with the alien invasion is like they send in the lampreys to kind of kill off the kaiju before Ghidorah ever gets there. Yeah.
Okay.
He subjugates them by removing their like core thing, and then and then that's how they figure out how to beat the aliens in the end, is like you beat them at their own game, like remove their resource from them. You find out it's electricity because it's a Ghidorah, right? But it's like a bioelectric thing. So in studying the lampreys, they also study like electric eels and figure out how to like short it. Perfect, dude. That's like sci-fi 101.
Done.
Why wasn't this in the movie? Yeah, so there you go. Just put in like some fun shit. Like I wanted the human beings to have some purpose in these movies because I think you and I were talking about this. Like, can you name one human character in any Godzilla movie?
In the 98 Godzilla, I guess.
One.
Oh, that 98 doesn't count.
Screaming Citizen number 1, Trampled Citizen number 2, Military Officer 20.
Yeah.
That's the problem. There is that there's just. I wanted there to be people in your movie.
Yeah.
Even if it is a Godzilla movie.
Well, and like you can always give the stakes to the mech pilots. Like if it's a kaiju attack in one of their hometowns, there's personal things at stake there. And then if you follow those characters on the ground, I like your idea to keep it kind of ground centered. So maybe it's kind of not just about the mechs, but about like what they represent to communities to have some form of protection in a post kaiju world. Maybe there's
a Starship Troopers kind of
kind of like a hero worshipy recruitment aspect. And then as we find out that behind that sheen, there's just kind of government fuckery. I like that our guys kind of turn into cowboys at that point. They're mech cowboys.
Yeah. It'd be fun to see like all the different mech designs you could come up with.
Oh, absolutely.
That's like half the joy of Armored Core is just like what crazy shit can come up with.
This sounds like Hideo Kojima's Godzilla, like straight up. I'd play the fuck out of it.
Well, it's funny because Hideo Kojima actually has a cameo in one of the Godzilla movies.
That's true, he does.
Yeah, I think it's Final Wars. I think that's what it was. Yeah, I think he gets stomped on or something like that.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's how I'd want to go too.
I would, yeah.
So,
but yeah, get it over with real quick. No, yeah, that's great. So we have and we're 3 movies in. We can do an alien invasion. That sounds fun. You do all the classic kaiju shenanigans, but now you've got kind of ground level attack that can happen at the same time. Just keeping everybody on their feet. I like the idea that it feels like that we adjusted to the kaiju world, and then the alien attack happened. It's like, oh my fuck, what's next? You know what I mean?
We can't catch
it's like, oh, now. Yeah. It's like 2020 all over again. Oh fuck, what now?
Right. No, yeah, exactly. maybe even give the kaiju that kind of like personality as well. That give them kind of like a, oh my god, not aliens too.
They're in the middle of a fight, like 2 of them are fighting, and then they just see like aliens coming down. They're just kind of like, they look at each other being like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
All right, time out.
I gotta go deal with this shit. I'll be right back.
That'd be great.
God. Godzilla's just annoyed everyone else is showing up.
Okay.
Like, what now?
So, I'm trying to keep like Kyle Chandler and Bradley Whitford and Thomas Middleditch around as like
they're in charge of the GOD at home.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
shove everybody over there.
Yeah. Keep them back
just
in an office. Yeah, I like that. No, that would be super cool. Do you think? Like it sounded like you were keeping Millie Bobby Brown.
New trainee, new pilot.
Yeah. Is she Kyle Chandler's daughter still? Is there like a nepotism angle within this as well?
Sure. You could use that as me like, well, she has to get kind of like hazed to get into the group.
Yeah. Okay. No, I like that. Yeah. I listen, like you've kept all the parts and just kind of readjusted the story, which I'm totally fine with. A lot gets to stick around. So I guess like the straight gas that is the last 5 minutes of this movie could essentially stick around, but now there's mechs in it and aliens.
Yeah.
So
like have Charles Dance, if you're going to say he's the main villain, have him show up at the end as like an actual villain.
Yeah. Without a PowerPoint.
Yeah, without a PowerPoint presentation.
Here are clips of humans in distress, like the news. I'm trying to activate that part of your brain.
God. Remember when I showed you that shot that was from Man of Steel?
There's a shot from Man of Steel in this movie.
They ripped the shot from Man of Steel because they were out of money and they needed to have more disaster footage. So they literally pulled from the disaster portion that was Smallville and put it into the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
Reuse your assets, even if it's from shit like that.
Do what you got to do,
Great.
man.
I can't believe Michael Dougherty is the same guy that also did Trick or Treat. Like, how the fuck do you go from that to that?
Listen, that's the goal, right? To start off in horror.
Too.
Yeah. That's exciting. No, I think it's a great pitch. I love it. You successfully got it off the fence for me, and it's
you
now
made it something.
Hollow Earth being the next movie almost makes too much sense at this point. Like you've retroactively made the next one even better.
Awesome.
Because now they've just made a bigger mech at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we just need something.
Well, also like you have Mecha Godzilla at that point, so
yeah. I love when the
it.
government's response is like, "Oh yeah, mechs worked last time. Let's just make a bigger one." Just compete. Yeah, it's arms race, guys. That's exactly what this is, right?
Oh, I've got it. The one that sacrificed himself, it's Shorzy. Jared Keese is the one that sacrificed himself. And he says, "Get ready for it, you tit fucker!"
I love it.
Yeah.
Done. Dead. Over. We can't perfect it anymore.
There you go.
And then
I did it.
You have another character say the line like, "Damn, do you think people are going to believe that the world was saved by a Canadian?"
Yes!
Oh man.
Oh, it's perfect.
There you go.
God.
There you go.
I kind of wish Dysart was here because he was writing a Godzilla pitch for a while and he didn't get picked up.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh well. Ask him about it sometime. He'll probably show it to you.
I had an idea for a Godzilla comic years ago that was going to be set back in the 1600s, and a boat gets caught in Godzilla's undertow and just gets dragged along with him down into Hollow Earth, where they end up as kind of shipwrecked. So it's like Mysterious Island via Godzilla. I thought, because then you get to do lots of other creatures as well as Godzilla.
Okay.
So it's like Skull Island kind of
yeah
thing, in the Hollow Earth.
It was going to be a lot more like, they end up on a beach with a giant crab creature, and eventually they establish shelter up in the caves where they find giant insect creatures, and really homage not Mystery Island, the movie I just said. Anyways, Mysterious Island. There we go.
Mysterious Island, yeah.
Even up to having a Captain Nemo cameo at the end. You know what I mean? Just to move the story along. Why not? Godzilla's one of those why not stories.
Why not?
Sure. Why not?
Well, let's end it here. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Perfect.
Should people check this movie out? Why not? Get a little drunk before you do. Throw it on at a party.
Yeah.
And then just cheer for the last 5 minutes of the movie.
There you go.
I think like Chappie, like our previous episode, it's a good movie to have on the background at a party, but turn the sound off. It's fun to just kind of glance at it and be like, oh, that's kind of pretty. And then you move on.
Yeah.
For sure.
If you caught a glance of it, be like, oh, that's all right.
Damn, that's what Godzilla looks like now. Okay, cool.
Oh, okay. He's a chonky boy.
Right.
Yeah.
Chonk.
Why did they make him fat?
Because he's
I don't know.
adorable
It's
and I
weird.
want him.
Well, I mean, the legs of the old suit were kind of predisposed to be fat to make it easier to balance. And so you want to carry that, that kind of visual.
Big floofy boys are the it thing.
We found out that skinny animal legs does not look good on Godzilla in the 98 Godzilla. So
yeah, does not
just
look
keep
good.
it chonky. Why not? It keeps his center of gravity very on the ground too.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I wanted to put in the other edition, it's a guy in a suit, like in Shin Godzilla. That is a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
They just enhanced it with CGI.
Yeah.
Why can't we do that? It's cheaper. I'll tell you that.
Just
what was the budget of this movie? Was it like $180 million or something like that?
It's
we're
got one of
this now. Before we get into another rant, Jesse.
Right. All right. Stop spending this kind of money on your movies, please.
Yeah, but do guy in,
you're already in massive debt to the banks.
Your guy in suit movies can look like blockbusters. I think that's the real ultimate lesson we learned from Shin Godzilla. That's where we're going to end this episode. Thank you, Godzilla fans, for being here. That was King of the Monsters. We get to keep all the monsters, and now we get aliens this time too, because Why not?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to jump on Letterboxd and give this one a good 3.5 out of why not.
Why not?
That's it for Film Rescue. I've been your Pitchmaster General. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night.
All right, and OBS is rolling. Let's clap sync. 1, 2, 3.
And my dogs barked in the background when I did that. That's my clap sync, is them barking.
There you go. It all works. Yeah.
That's the mark time.
That's when you're on set and the clacker can't be found for fuck all reason.
Yeah.
Because some PA's lost it. As long as you can make a nice loud sound into the mic,
Oh yeah,
that's all you need.
there's some.
Yeah.
I've seen some PAs go like use their arms and they're like.
Yeah.
It's just to sync the video and the audio when you get to the editing bay.
That's the PA punishment. It's like who lost the clipboard? That's the person that's clapping their arms.
Yeah. I think the rule is that if you lose the clacker on a set, you have to buy everybody a case of beer. I think that's the rule.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so they never lose it. They always keep it attached to their hip because otherwise you owe people a lot of money.
Damn.
I mean, they can just all. But they didn't. But did they specify what kind of beer? Because they could just do like some Natty Ice shit.
I think it has to be
$5
the
a
decent
12-pack. Boom.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like you can buy them Guinness or Rolling Rock. Probably one is going to be more expensive than the other. So.
Right. Man, a case of Guinness, that's a real punishment right there.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well,
Oof.
the strike's over finally, and everything back.
Hell yeah.
Everybody's back to work.
Woo!
Wait 6 months. IATSE goes on strike. We ain't done yet. We ain't fucking done.
Yeah, there's
We're
still
not
movement
fucking
to be had. Yep.
We're asking for a 10% raise increase. It won't happen. It won't happen.
I'm proud that people keep pushing these forward though. You know, it's like the only real way to change the industry, and it's working now. Like it's starting to topple. You know. I think we're getting a change.
Yeah, I went through my listing of like the best and worst of this year so far, what I've seen, and I marked worst every executive that drew out this strike as long as possible so that they could fuck over everybody below the line.
Right.
Yeah.
You're the worst. You're the worst. Fuck the
Pretty
movies.
much.
You're the worst. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. No, I think that's fair.
I've seen all the posts where they're like, "Oh, they're just realizing they're like losing money in fourth quarter." I'm like,
You just realized
gee,
that?
I wonder why.
They can't think that far
Shocker.
ahead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Truly. Damn.
We can get into how Warner Brothers is about to be sold off to Universal as well, and Zaslav's going to fucking march out there like a little bitch. Jesus Christ.
Wild. Jesus. All
That
right.
means
You
they
guys ready?
That means they can cross over the dark universe with the Godzilla franchise.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Can't wait to see Tom Cruise's mummy take on Kong.
Right.
Can't
Just
wait.
shoot me now. Just shoot me the fuck now.
I'm pretty sure this is all going to end up as the tagger on this episode.
Oh,
anyways.
it will. All right, let's do it.
All right,
Okay.
cool.